Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fusion Podcast, the destination where you can connect with professionals in all aspects to enhance your day-to-day life and your future. You will be enlightened with 15 to 30-minute interviews with these professionals, followed with a DJ theme set to brighten up your day. Excited for our journey together here at Fusion Podcast. Welcome to the family, and now presenting to you, yours truly, your host, myself, Andrea Arenas Vasquez, also known as Ace Fusion. Welcome to episode 4. So happy to have everybody here today. We have a very special guest all the way from New York City, the one and only multi-award winning producer and songwriters. I know a lot of you out there listen to bachata a lot, and this gentleman here, amazing, talented, he's been the one, behind all of our favorite songs. Like, I'm not even going to say a lot. I'm going to just let him welcome himself and just share a little bit of the background of some of your favorite artists, like Aventura, the group, like Prince Royce, like Vanessa Ayala, and all of these people, also extreme. So I'm going to go ahead. Hey, Andre, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good.
You good? Everybody's been anticipating this episode number 4, with you, the producer, the person who's been behind all of these amazing tracks, bachata tracks, that they have no clue the production that goes behind all of this amazing music that goes out there that changed our lives, changed the dance scene, changed the world in general. Like, I'm just happy and I'm super honored to have you on this episode, Fusion Podcast. And I know a lot of people's been anticipating this. Can you share the background story, just, on a nutshell? Can you just inspire us, enlighten us on how a lot of these amazing artists came about and how you were able to pretty much launch them and the things that people don't know? So I'm just throwing it. I'm very excited to get to know more about this. Can you enlighten us?
Yes. I mean, I'll make it short because it's a little bit of a long story, but I got into music way back in '99. To make it short, I had connections in any Latino club in New York, period. In any borough, even in Jersey, if there was a Latino club, I have the connections with the owners, the promoters, the managers. I knew, all the artists at the moment. I knew all their managers. I knew all the promoters. I knew everybody. It's a long story how I got to know everybody in that capacity, but I wasn't even into music, like as far as working with it. But like I said, long story short, I had all the connections, and through a friend, a musician, a bass player, I ended up meeting the Aventura guys way back in '99. And they were actually, they were getting rid of one of their members. They were actually kicking out Henry Santos. He was one of the members, and Anthony and them had gotten into a big problem, so they kicked him out, and they were looking for new coritas to take his place, new backup singers. So I knew upcoming singers, and I knew other singers. So my friend, the bass player, gave me Lenny's number, Lenny Santos, and he said, give him a call. And I gave him a call, and I brought some friends that I knew that were singers or upcoming singers, and they tried them out. And they didn't like any of the guys I brought, but we became cool. We started hanging out, talking and everything. And I ended up falling into the music through them, because they were a group that had been out there. Before I even met them, they had like 7 years trying to come up, trying to be, big and trying to get out there. They had different names back in the days. They used to be Banda Sueño, and they used to then they were
Teenagers.
The Teenagers after that, and then after the Teenagers, they were Aventura. When I met them, they already had the name Aventura. They had one CD out already under Aventura with the label Premium Latin. They had everything. They had a label. They had a manager, this guy named Ruben back then, and they had a CD out for like 2 years. Their first CD through the label. What was the name of it? It was called Generation Next, I think. And it's a great CD, but it wasn't out there, and it wasn't. I mean, it was released. It didn't get out there the way I think it should have, because it was a really, really good song. Because I knew their music through that first CD, because the same friend, a bass player, had brought it to me one day because he knows I love bachata. I was like a freak in bachata, so he was like, "Yo, you would appreciate this," and he gave it to me, and I put it in my Jeep, and I played it, and I loved it. Like instantly, I was like, "Wow, this is so dope. It's so different." Like I saw the future, you know, and it was so different from everything back then. All the old school, you know, Luis Vargas, Anthony Santo.
It was fresh.
It was fresh. It was different. It was young. It had new sounds. It had a young voice. It was something completely different from what everyone was used to, and I loved it. I completely loved it. So then when I got a chance to meet him and we hung out, they invited me to go to some spot where they were going to play in a restaurant in the Bronx somewhere. And I went to see them. When I went, there was literally like nobody there. It was just me, my girl at the time that I took, and there was like one Mexican guy in the corner just with a bucket of beers drinking. It was like nobody there. But they put the show on and they were into it. There was like no one there, and they did a whole entire show, and it was great. And I loved it. And then after that show, I asked them, I said, hey, you know, like, how do you guys get gigs? Like, what do you guys do? And they were like, oh, you know, whatever. Just, you know, if you could want to get us a gig, you go ahead. And I was like, okay, well, how much do you guys charge? And they were like, whatever you could get us. Like, you know, we just want to play. We want to get, you know, exposure. And I was like, really? I said, okay. And then, so then I told them, listen, I'm going to work on getting you some gigs and we'll figure it out. And I started talking to all the promoters and owners I knew. And when I brought them the CD that with the guys on it, and I told them, listen, I want to put these guys to play. Every single promoter and owner had the same exact reaction. They looked at the CD, they saw these 4 young kids in tank tops, because that CD has, they're wearing these little wife beaters. And then, and as soon as they saw it, they said, mira, Dre, ven acá, ¿qué es esto? Carajito, cantando bachata. No, eso no, Dre, yo no hago eso. They didn't understand, they couldn't accept that there were young people singing bachata, because back then it was just old school, you know, older guys singing, and the older guys and the music was what everybody loved, not only our parents, but the younger generation too. They loved it because that's all they had. They didn't really have a choice. And it is great music, don't get me wrong, I loved it, but there was no young bachata. And they wouldn't accept it no matter what. So I ended up working a deal with them, because back then the clubs would throw, they would do promotions every week no matter what. And back then promotions was big posters and flyers. And then the bigger clubs that had more money would do a radio spot, you know, and do a commercial. So they did it no matter what every weekend. Every club would do either posters and flyers and or commercials as well, the ones that were bigger. So I told them, listen, don't give me nothing. Since you don't want to give me nothing for them, you don't want to put them on, give me the door. You guys already do the promotion, put them on the promotion, and give me the door. And they were like, you know, fuck it. Like, why not? They're like, you know, we're not losing. Like, yeah, Dre, you think you got something? Go. And they went ahead and do it. They did it. And the first show we ever did was in Jersey in a club called Tropicals back then. And after the first show, you know, right while they were there, the girls went crazy for them, because it was young girls. See, they were literally going crazy, screaming. Anthony threw like his jacket or sweater, something he had, and they were fighting for it. And this was the first day they ever played. It was ridiculous. Like, the promoters saw that, and the owners, and right away they came to me, Dre, dame una fecha, you know, give me a date. They were like, you know, right away they wanted the group, and it was the same reaction everywhere we went, and it was crazy because it was new, it was fresh, it was young. And the crazy part is that no one saw that. No one could see that future. These are all promoters and owners of clubs that run clubs that young people went to, and they still couldn't see the vision. They couldn't get it, but I saw it. And I ended up doing that, and it was right there. It was like a domino effect. I used all my connections, and I put these guys everywhere: Brooklyn, Queens, Jersey, Bronx, Manhattan, you name it. There was a Latin club, we was in there. And then after their first initial show, they loved it so much and the reaction that I just started getting dates and dates and dates, and it got so crazy that the guys loved it. Within like 3 months or 4 months, like I was booking these guys everywhere. It was crazy. The guys came up to me at a rehearsal and they said, Dre, you know, like, you know, everything you've done for us in these 4 months, like no one has ever done for us, not their label, not their current manager, nothing. They said, we want you to work with us, we want you to manage us, and and promoters and all that. And I was like, hey, you know, why not? I loved the group. I was a fan of the music. And I was like, hey, let's do it. And then we started working. And that's how I got into the music, period. And then we put out our CD, our first CD for Aventura with me, and was We Broke the Rules. And that's the one that skyrocketed their careers. That's where we had Obsesión with Judy Santos. No
yes.
amor.
You told me a little secret before. You said that Judy Santos was not originally in that song. That's correct?
She wasn't. The first version was just Anthony. There was no girl on it, and it's crazy. I wish I had a version of it. I don't. I'm sure Anthony should still have it somewhere. Who knows? But there was definitely a version without Judy on it. And then they put Judy on it, but Judy just made it better. It was amazing. So, and that's like the song that blew them up, you know. And that album blew them up. They had Obsesión, Amor de Madre, Enséñame a Olvidar, all these tracks that were amazing, amazing. And that album was amazing. And that just kickstarted my career. I didn't know the music business, and I learned it, but I had the hustle. And I just happened to be good at it. I happened to be good at getting them out there, selling them, promoting them. I literally took my own money and started making posters for them and doing all these other things. And I started their very first ever website back then when the internet was newer too. It wasn't the way it is now that everything's on the internet. Their first ever internet page was called Aventura2k.com. And I still have a floppy disk with all the Aventura stuff from that website. That's how crazy it is.
And I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, I know. And that's how way back it was. It was a floppy disk, and I still haven't put away. And literally, I started all the stuff they never ever done. I did autograph signings. They never did that. We had our first ones ever in Jersey, since it was their first place they played. And it was a line around the corner. I got pictures of that, video of that too. I started their first merchandising. I made keychains with their pictures in it. I did so many things, stuff that they never thought of, stuff that the label didn't think of, stuff that nobody else thought of. And I started, it got crazy. We were booked literally for, it was like almost the entire week we would be booked. It would be, maybe we had like a day off. We had like a Tuesday off or something. But we were literally, because there were clubs that opened Mondays and Wednesdays. And we literally were booked every day of the week for months and months at a time. And I would have to put 2, 3, even 4 gigs a night sometimes. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. Wow. It got so crazy that the label ended up calling and saying they wanted to speak to me, and they spoke to me because I never met them or knew them. They thanked me for my work and all this stuff, and then we kept going. And the rest is pretty much history. Went from there, and they blew up and went everywhere.
Wow. So that's Aventura's story. I mean, I could only imagine you had then amazing hits like Te Extraño by Extreme. Then you had hits like with Prince Royce, like you helped develop his artistry as well. I mean, How did you do it, Dre? Like, people are listening right now. They wonder how they could do it if they're in the music, if they ever wanted to get into the music industry. How could you give them some tips on how to even, get out there as artists, singing artists? Doesn't matter. I think even the dance industry is something similar to where you have to know how to market yourself and stand out, bring something fresh, something different to the scene. What could you tell us? How could you continue to inspire us with your amazing story? What are some nuggets? What are some things that you did different, some things that worked, and then maybe some things that didn't work that you may be able to pretty much bring to us? Because I'm interested in knowing and the conviction you had to have and just the will, because imagine you just took the shot, you didn't even know anything about music. What can you say?
I didn't.
What continued to, did your family inspire you? Did the music inspire you? Were you trying to heal from something? I'm just curious to how all of this really, how did you really came to because, before anyone brings success or has success in life, they either had a struggle they were dealing with, because I've researched a lot of people. Like lately I've been reading a lot of books, and a lot of people who are close or about to hit this, this thing in life where it's called success, they either struggle with something or they're healing from something, and they just, relentlessly continue to pursue whatever it is that they truly wanted. can you just share with us? Because this is why we have Fusion Podcast. We want to know some things. We want you to get to the nitty gritty of what are some things that people could do to become a successful producer, dancer, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't feel like I was, how do you say, struggling with something so bad. Like, I mean, the only thing was that I was very independent. I left my home when I was like 16, and I would work. At first, I moved in with a friend, and I would just work and pay stuff. And eventually, I got my own place. I've always been a worker. I never had a father there. My father was never there since I was a little kid, which is probably one of the reasons. Yeah, which is probably one of the reasons. My dad was never there since I was a little kid. So I had a lot of, I guess, family struggles. And I left the home as well, where I did have my mom, but I left because we had issues there too. So maybe it is that I had some issues, but I don't think of them and I don't dwell on them. I just left, made myself independent, and hustled all the time. Worked, busted my ass.
Yes.
You know, I worked. That's probably why I was one of the only young kids that I had a ride. I had my own place, and I was a young ass dude, working, have my own car, have my own everything. And I would just do me. I hustled really hard. And as far as the music, that's exactly what is most needed than anything when it comes to singers, upcoming artists, even dancers. I mean, there is no perfect formula for an artist to become huge. And then the industry changes so much because the stuff I did back then wouldn't work today. Like back then, but it's all about the hustle. Back then, literally, I would hustle. Like I would make hundreds of CDs and go out to all the popular spots and give them out and go to the heights where it's Dominican land, you know, bachata, giving it out. I would take the artist with me so people could see his face. I would go to the clubs and introduce them to all the DJs because I knew all the DJs. They met the DJs. They played this song. They announced them. They met promoters. It was all about the hustle. In today's world, you can't do the CD thing. Yeah, you could still do other things. You know, they could go to the clubs. They could bring a little flash drive. The thing is that today's DJs won't just play your stuff. It's a little bit different. A lot of DJs in today's world, not to hate because I love DJs, but a lot of DJs in today's world, they don't want to just play anything you give them. They was, oh, no, I got a set already done. And, you know, if you know them, then they cool. It's different. But a lot of them won't do it. Or in today's world, things have turned into more money than talent. Because I see a lot of talented people, and then they don't got the right money to do it. And in today's world, the music industry has turned into money. Everything's about money. You want to get on the radio, it's about money. You want to be on the top list on everything, it's about money. Even though everyone says it's not, because technically it's not legal, it's all about money. You can still hustle hard on your own without that. You know, you always got to spend a little something on yourself, whether it's promoting yourself, like you said before. You have to promote yourself, and you can't be lazy about it. It's not about, okay, I posted a picture on Instagram and that's it, you know, or I posted a clip on Instagram. No, there's so many ways, and you gotta use your head. You gotta come up with new ideas. You know, sometimes you spend a little money, put some ads on Facebook ads, Instagram ads. They help. They do. They're not gonna make you. It's not enough to just do that, but it helps. But combine that with everything. You know, like back in the days, they used to say, people, you were hustlers. You go up to, you wanna label to hear your music. Go find where the record labels are. Go try to get an appointment or talk your way in. Figure it out, like I did with Aventura's first music in La Mega. I literally just walked up in there, and when I walked through the front door, the secretary for some reason thought she knew me. She was, oh, hi, and I was like, okay, and I just kept walking. I had no idea where I was going. Kept walking and got in the elevator. And when I got in the elevator, I just pressed. There was 4 buttons only. It's like a 4-floor building. And I pressed like 3 of them. And one opened up, and I looked down. I didn't see nothing going on there. Then the next one opens up, and I see a DJ rocking in the back. So I got out, and I walk all the way over, and I walk into the booth. Nobody's there. It's just him. And guess who it was? It was Alex Sensation. And he was there, just sitting there on the air talking, hey, whatever, you know.
I love it.
And then he sees me walking in, and he's looking like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what is he doing here? And he's just there, and he goes like, oh, he goes on a break, and he stops. He's like, hey, Who are you? And I said, hey, Alex, what's up, bro? Look, my name is Dre. I said, I got this group, man. I want you to hear it. It is the future. I'm telling you, I need you to just listen to it. And if you like it, I hope you can play it for us, please. And he literally said, oh, let me get it. I'll play it right now. I want to hear it. And he put it in his thing and played it in the speakers in the studio to hear it. And he was like jamming to it. He was like, oh, man, he said, yo, that is good. Wow, that's dope. He said, I love it, man. I'm going to play it for you one day. I was like, word? He's like, yes, but I want to meet this guy. I want to meet this guy. I want to know who this artist is. I said, I'm going to bring him to you. And then we set up. And the next time we got together, I brought him to, and my light turned off on the back because it's my screen. But anyway, I brought him to meet him. And then that was history too. Then Alex became the exclusive guy for all the Aventura hits, which also helped build Alex's career. Because back then, he was Alex Sensation, but he turned into like the biggest DJ ever, and a big part of that was because he was Aventura's exclusive DJ when it came to all the hits. They got first dibs at every new song, and Aventura became huge, ginormous. They became the biggest shit ever. So that's how that happened. But that's my point. It's hustle. Nobody told me to do that. I thought to myself, what can I do? Mega's the hottest Spanish station. Let me go get in there. And I got in there. And if I wouldn't have got in there, I would have tried another way, and I literally, back then, CDs today, they don't exist. You can't press them up, and most places, they don't even play CDs no more. You might go to some states where they still have, but it's not the same. New York's not like that. LA's not like that. So, but there's other ways. The point is, you got to think, and you got to hustle. I would literally wake up and get on the phone, and I was calling promoters. From Chicago, Texas, and I was working like all the time towards it. Like there was no laziness in me. What I did for them was all hustle. And that is the biggest advice I give to every artist. Hustle. And do not expect because you get a manager or you get a booking agent, or even if you get signed to any indie label or even a major label, they're not going to do all the work for you. You need to do your work. You need to hustle. And today's world, the major labels, they don't even sign artists unless they're already big. They don't do that no more. They wait till somebody else blows them up. Then they come with a bag and say, here, we're going to give you this. We want to sign you. And they usually always go because they give them good money. And they do have more reach and more outlets to help further the career, which is right. But definitely, it's all about the hustle. And you got to think of something no one else thought of. Figure it out, Hustle if you every single day as an artist hustle, whether it's calling people, whether it's emailing people, whether it's posting, whether it's doing a story, make your own damn Spotify list if they don't put you on the big list, and promote it, push it. Like there's so many things you could try to do as far as an artist. It's all about the hustle. That's the best advice I could do.
I also got from what you just said, showing up and finding a way to be able to just at least connect with something or someone, So I love that, because that's for all the industries,
Exactly. Even as dancers, go to events. You never know who you meet that might
just
be
look
the
at
next
your dance.
step. Yep, exactly. Somebody might see you, hey, I like that. I want to use you for this. It's just like the shows. We did one show, they loved it. Then the next person wanted a show. Then someone else heard it. And so you got to show up. Like you said, you got to hustle, and you have to show up. You can't sit at home and just think, okay, it's going to happen. You got to hustle in every way you can. And that goes for dancers, for everyone. You're a dancer, promote yourself, market yourself, put a little money into it. Come up with a routine, do a video, do whatever. Hustle your ass off. That's the only way you get to the next level. And that's how it is. Somebody, they might feature you in a video. That gets you more places. There's so many different things. It's all about the hustle. It's all about the hustle.
So I had a very amazing person ask. They were like, look, you got to ask Dre this question, because they're actually a singer, upcoming. So right now, because of the COVID and everything that's happening with the worldwide, this is something that's affecting the industries. So this is a serious question, and I was interested in knowing as well. Would you recommend someone going solo, like a solo artist, or someone joining pretty much like a label? Like, what do you say? Like, because I don't know the difference. I'm not a singer or anything like that. But they were like, please, Ace, if you could ask one question, can you please have Dre tell us like a little bit on how that, what would you recommend, and how would you, advise somebody who doesn't know about that, on who's talented and they just want to know which route they need to go?
I got you. I mean, the solo artist is this. You can be a solo artist. The label part is just if you sign to a label, they're they're financially in charge. I'm on. Oh my God, sorry. Listen,
It's all good. It's all good. This is
I bet
organic.
you anything. It's my daughter probably coming over ask me something, but she's good. She's being taken care of over there. Like I said, it's a label. If you have a label, then they're the ones obligated to pay for videos and pay for your production, for your album, and promotions. It depends how much they're actually gonna do for you, because like I said, most major labels don't really sign artists unless they're already big. And to be big, you have to have millions of views and millions of downloads or whatever, and it's not easy to get that. As far as solo, I mean, you are a solo artist or you're a group. Either way, it comes to the same thing. You gotta hustle, you gotta push. The only way to get out there. um, if that's the question, because that's what I got from it. Because you're saying whether it should be in a label or
Why? What? No. What? I think the majority of the question would be, it's just like, would you recommend for them to go solo? Is solo a good thing right now with
oh
COVID?
to be well, a lot of people say you can in today's market, the way that things work today, you can be an independent artist, which is the
Right.
difference. So, independent artist or you with a label, you can. The only thing is, independent artist, you have to pay for everything. So if you can and you're able to do it well, then why not do it by yourself? If you're good enough and you can do it, it's about that, because it costs money to make videos. It costs money to record productions. Studio musicians, depending on your genre. Because some genres don't need musicians, or beat making. Others need live instruments. Like I use live instruments all the time. It's all about that in today's world, because you can distribute digitally and all these other things that you couldn't do back then. You can do it, and you can be independent. And some people say it's better, but you have to be able to get yourself out there and market. If you can get a label, and I think it's still worth having a label, as long as they take care of certain things that will save you that money, and they can promote you. But you got to know about this stuff. So you get yourself a lawyer, because you got to always read the fine print and know what you're getting into. That's a big thing too for any upcoming artists. Make sure you do everything on paper if you do it, and don't make deals just by mouth. Make sure everything's on paper. Even as far as productions, nowadays artists don't be knowing the difference. You work with a producer, there should be a contract. There should be a contract of what he gets, what you get. You're working with other writers. There should be something also, split sheets, contract saying you're getting this much, they're getting that much. Because believe me, later on things change. Somebody either forgot or they change their mind and want more, and then it's a problem. Then you have issues with each other. So it's always good to have everything on paper, because it takes away the chance of any disagreements. So that's it. I mean, there's so many lessons you're gonna learn. Hey, I've been in this game forever, and I still learn things all the time. And the music world is changing, and I gotta adapt to it and push. And work is the same thing.
Wow, wow. So now that, that's so much valuable knowledge I feel like you provided to us. And I'm really curious on how, I want to get into how were you able to just do all these amazing things and travel and have all these gigs for Aventura, Prince Royce, Extreme. I mean, we didn't even talk about all these amazing artists, which people are going to be able to hear some of the tunes that you pretty much produced
Yeah.
at the mix in a couple of minutes. But I really wanted you to share with us also the balance. How were you able to balance family time? How were you able to balance your life and the professional work that you've been putting out there and changing lives? Because a lot of people know of the song Obsesión. They know the songs of Te Extraño. They know all, Corazón, by, what is it, Corazón?
Corazón sin cara, that's
Corazón
Royce.
Sin Cara. Like, these are hits that people love, these artists, but they don't know that it it took a producer, it took a big team behind,
Yeah.
to do this. And I wanted to shed some light on you because I feel like you're a really important factor in the dance community itself, because we dance to your music all the time and we
Thank you.
appreciate you. And I really wanted to bring you on this Fusion podcast because I felt as dancers, sometimes they just need to know a little bit of history to then next time when they hear Too Strong, that's your line, right? So when they hear
Yeah.
Too Strong, now they could put a face and the line together, and people could hit you up, be like, yo, I appreciate you for what you've done in my life. Like, bachata changed the game. Once I heard Obsession, I mean, it was a wrap for me. I wanted to dance.
Yes.
Next Generation, all of those albums that came after, I just love Aventura. There's not one hit that I can't dance to. Also Prince Royce, I mean, no one really knows the history, and I feel like this is very important for the dance community. So the value, the balance, can you just share with us before I ask you the ultimate question that I ask to all of the guests here at Fusion Podcast? Let us know the balance. How did you do it?
Okay, well, I'll be really honest. From the very beginning when it came to Aventura, I honestly, now being older and going through everything I went through, I didn't balance it that well. I actually didn't make enough time for family, which is I suggest for anyone that, especially people that have kids, if you have kids, make a balance. Hustle your ass off, make a schedule, and work, but make time for the family, because I do regret not making more time for my family, because when I did Aventura, it was all Aventura. Like, I literally put all my time into them. I mean, it made a difference, and it would make a difference for anybody. But if you have family, if you have kids rather, because your family is there, your mom is there. If you got a partner, then they should be there supporting you too. But if you got kids, make the time. Make the time. You can balance it, because I do that in my life now, and I've been doing it for years in the music. But in the very beginning, I didn't balance it, and I think it's very important that you do create a balance, and that's all about scheduling, making yourself available at certain times, or not making yourself available when it comes to certain things, and just spending certain amount of days or times with your family, your kids and stuff. But that you definitely should balance. I balance myself now, and I've been, like I said, for years. I have a certain time that's only for family, and I don't work unless there's an emergency, which my family understands. If there's an emergency and something has to be get done because it was released on Monday or anything, and I got a weekend, I'm like, no, I'm doing this. I can do it. Obviously, you play it by ear, but you make the time and you balance yourself, because family is everything as well. I mean, this is your music or your dance, it's your careers, so you have to build it and you got to do it, but you definitely need to balance. And you can do it. I do it. I know everyone else can do it, and I've been doing it for years. After Aventura, I said to myself, this is not a fluke. I know I'm good at this. Let me try it again. And then I literally put together from scratch Extreme. I gave him the name Extreme. I brainstormed and we ended up with Extreme. I put singers, musicians together and made them. And then I created their first single, which was Te Extraño, the one that's a classic now. That was the first single I produced in a studio in Queens, this guy named Fragancia. And it's crazy because I did the same things I did with Aventura. I hustled my ass off, went to the clubs, brought the CDs, all the stuff. And then they started blowing up and going everywhere. We went to DR, we started traveling. They got a huge career after that as well. And then after Extreme, Universal Music asked me to do an album for a group called Unique that I actually started working in the beginning. And then I got them to deal with them. But it was actually Machete Records, which was a sub-label of Universal Music, Machete Records. And then either way, I got them the deal. I started working on, while I was working on that album in the same studio, I was in Malafe Studio, which is a merenguero. And his studio has like one big studio, which I was using, and then a small one around the corner, the same floor. And it just so happens the guy that mixed Te Extraño for me, his name was Raul. He was around the corner there, and he was with that kid Prince Royce. And he said, yo, Dre is over there. He told me, yo, this is the guy you got to meet. He made Aventura. He did Extreme, blah, blah, blah. And he came over and said, yo, Dre, I got this kid. He wants to meet you. Can I bring him over? And I said, yeah, for sure, bring him. he came over. We met real quick. I saw Royce, and I saw a good-looking kid. He was a little too skinny back then. When I first met him, he was very skinny. I said, but that's nothing. We can fix that, you know?
Right.
And I was like, okay, so you're an artist. Like, yeah. I said, so sing for me. He said, sing? I was like, yeah. He's like, what do you want me to sing? I said, whatever you want. Just sing for me right there. And he started singing something for me. And once he finished singing, I said, you know what? This kid is talented. Like, I saw what I pictured already, what I could do with him.
Wow.
He had a good image. I could fix him. And I said, all right, let's work, but we got to do contracts. So then, you know, we did contracts. I met his parents. We sat. We did everything. And then the rest is history. Then I did his first album, which is 8 times platinum right now.
Wow. It's still rising.
It's his best album to date, which I thank God. I'm glad I was able to do that for him. And I love the music myself. And it just, you know, it's how it works. Like, again, it was work. It was hustle. I was working. I met another one. I saw the talent, and I went with that. And then after that, after Royce, I signed a few other people. I had, it's Gene, which super talented kid. He had family issues and stopped doing the music. But his music was amazing too. I did his album, and his song was #3 on the billboards. While Royce and Romeo had a single out, that new kid Gene, his single actually passed both of them on the billboards, and it was number three on the billboards. Romeo was #4, and I think Royce was #6 on the billboards. That's how good the kid was. He's really good. And then after that, I also signed these other kids from Miami. Solo those 2 brothers, amazing voices. This other girl, Vanessa Ayala, and they all have music out. You guys should definitely check them out. They're all super talented. Only difference is that in today's market, you can't do the same hustle. And if you're not on a major label, a lot of people don't even see the music that they have.
Right.
It's
Where
amazing.
can people find your music? Where can people find you if they wanted to just see a little bit more about you? You know, put a name to the face. Where can people find you? Can you give us a website that way people can actually look you up?
Yeah. I mean, there's a website that's being redone, so everything's not up to date. But it's twostrongmusic.com, which is my website. But you can also go see all the videos on youtube.com/twostrongmusic. Everything that I have is Too Strong Music. You got Facebook, Too Strong Music, and Instagram, Too Strong Music. That's another thing for all artists that you guys should do. If you're gonna have all these social medias, try to have them all the same. This way it makes it easier for your fans and anyone looking for your stuff to find you. You know,
right.
You gotta brand yourself, and that's part of branding there too.
100%. I actually just advised a couple artists that asked me for advice, dance artists, and they asked me for some advice. The first thing I do is I look at their social media, and I always tell them, you know, that's huge. You could be talented, you could have the best content, but if you're not organized and you don't have the same name, and people can't find you on, you know, they could find you as Ace Fusion and then see your 1, 2, 3 K4, you know, like how they're gonna be able to find you and actually look at your art, you know. I'm like, that's like a profile, that's like a portfolio that you have. You have to have all the same names. So that's one of the things, you know, and that's one of the nuggets. Anybody out there listening right now, dancer, singer, that's a great advice. You know, make sure people can find you with the same name and
same have a name. It's branding. And sometimes people are like, oh no, my name, I want this. If it's taken and you can't get it, because sometimes there's names like, one of my names was taken on Twitter, Too Strong Music. Somebody had it for some reason. I have no idea why, because they weren't a music thing. It was something else. And I literally wrote to them and just asked them if I can get the name. And I told them, listen, you guys are, I think they were clothes or something else. And I said, you guys can have this, like, and it fits you. I found another one that was available that fit what their stuff was, which actually made more sense for them. And they were like, well, okay, sure. And they went ahead and they released it. And then I took it over. Then there was another one where literally no one would answer. And then I wrote to Instagram and they gave it to me anyway, because at the end of the day, my names and everything is trademarked. So at the end of the day, legally it's mine and other people are not, so can't use it. So that's another thing. If anyone's an artist or whatever, and you have a name and you can trademark it and register it and it's yours, then legally, even on social networks, if someone else has it, you know, you have to go through trouble, then they are not allowed to have it because it's trademarked and it's yours. So that's a way out of it. you know.
I literally just did that, Dre.
Oh, cool.
I just, LLC all of my, Ace Fusion Entertainment. I just know that my branding, like it's gonna touch, a lot. And I know I have a lot of projects, coming up, and I don't want that to be another person's branding, because I don't put a
Yes,
stamp on it.
yes,
So that
exactly.
anybody out there listening. But Dre, I want to get to the last question. I think is an important
Yeah, yeah,
question. How has
sure.
music changed your life? Just tell us in a few, briefly, can you just tell us how music has changed your life, healed you? How has it transformed your life? Like, just give us a little bit. And I know that your daughter is also a singer.
Ah, yes, yes, she is.
Oh, and
Yes,
people
she
are going to
is.
be able to listen to you. And I'm so excited for them to listen to her amazing song, which is on the very last song of the mix that you're going to be able to hear in a few minutes. But can you just tell us how music has
Thank
changed your life? Because Fusion Podcast is about conversation from professionals to be able to enhance our life day to day,
you.
and then music at the end, because I feel like that's, conversation and music heals souls. So can you just enlighten us with
Absolutely.
that?
Well, I mean, music has changed my life in so many ways. I mean, aside from being able to take care of me and my family through music because of, the financial part that it's made, and it's taking care of me and my family financially for all these years since back then till now, and I continue to work in it and make that. But it changes you in so many ways. I mean, I've gotten to travel the world pretty much for because of music and touring with artists and all types of stuff. You see other cultures, you learn things from everywhere. It's enlightened and opened up my mind to other things. It's also, it can be humbling as well, because if you're an artist and you go and you make it huge and then you come back down, things, you see things differently. If you get huge and you're up there, sometimes most people don't have the discipline to humble themselves and be chill. I'm up here now, but you never know, and it can. And you go. I've been up and down and up and down. I've seen it all. So it's changed me, in I guess in a good way, because no matter what, no matter all the bad parts I've gone through with the industry, I am happiest than I've ever been, because I'm good. I'm happy. I have my family. I get to do what I love, create music. I continue to create music and make beautiful works. And I get a lot of fans and friends and people that I meet for the first time in events or through Facebook, through Instagram, people messages, just people thanking me and telling me how my music changed their lives, or they used it in their wedding, or they became musicians because of my music, or they became dancers. Anything is so many little things like that that it touches my heart and makes me feel so happy that I've been able to touch so many people all over the world, that I have literally made a change in the world, and a positive change. So I am completely happy. Like I said, it just made me a better person. And you have to become a better person. You got to go through the bad. You have to do. You can't just have all good. You have to go through the good and the bad in this industry, which I'm sure most industries, not just the music industry, it's the same way. There's a lot of cutthroat in the industry, and a lot of bad in the industry,
Right.
a lot of dishonest people, and a lot of people that just looking to make a buck and not work or help. So
From the
be
heart.
careful. Be
Right.
careful to all the artists coming up. It's a lot of people just looking to make a buck off you, or looking at, it's a shame, but it is what it is. So you just got to be a little smarter, get things on paper, and don't let the bad change your heart. Don't let it turn you into a evil or mean person, because it can, and I've seen people get that way. You don't need it. Happiness is not, about the happiness is inside you. You make yourself happy, and whatever you have is more than enough. Somebody out there got less, and that's about it. It's
Wow.
changed positively.
Wow, that's amazing, Dre. I'm so humble and I'm so honored to have you here at a Fusion Podcast again. You're the fourth episode. Like, imagine, like you're helping me change lives, because a lot of dancers, just people in general, don't know, where their favorite groups came from, or like, a little background. I feel like this is an amazing
Yes.
background to learn, and just be able to hear, you know, Too Strong, and people sing it, but they don't know where it comes from,
Yeah, they
So
don't even know
like
what it is.
they
Yeah.
don't know unless they're a singer or a songwriter, and they're like, oh, wait,
Yes.
that's a line right there from a producer or something. But
Yes.
thank you so much. I'm so happy that you were able to join us today here. And I'm super excited because is there any last words that you have before we leave?
Oh, no, thank you for having me. It was a great interview. I'm glad I can put something out there, hopefully help anybody else out. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I got more music coming, you know, and I work with other artists that are not signed to me. I just work as producer for hire, which I've done. I literally just posted some today on my Instagram for a kid that I did a song. You know, keep hustling, everybody, and stay good. Try to be honest and try to be fair. Never get greedy.
Hey, okay. All right, so everybody, thank you again for tuning in for episode number 4 here with Andres Dre Hidalgo, aka Too Strong. Make sure you tune in for the mix. I'm super excited to have you all and listen to amazing hits straight from Andres Hidalgo, his amazing productions. And yeah, stay tuned for episode number 5. We're gonna have an amazing artist, Angelica Medino. I'm super excited to have her here on the show next week. So thank you again, and we'll stay in touch.
DJ Ace is in the mix.
Sentimiento, aventura, too strong. Algo me dice que tú mientes cuando escucho esas palabras de tu voz. Y aún me amas que me extrañas, ¿o acaso te conmueves de mi amor? A veces quiero llorar, a veces quiero gritar. Pensar que me hiciste hombre, la primera que me tocó y no te puedo borrar. Fuiste tú mi gran anhelo, tentación de mis deseos, solo tú. Mi cuerpo lleva tus huellas, me robaste mi inocencia y mi luz. ¿Sabes qué pienso si esa noche la recuerdas como la recuerdo yo? Más bien no dudo, yo era virgen y tú, mejor ni hablar. Dicen que los hombres somos perros y jugamos el amor, pero nunca dicen cuando las mujeres quieren a los hombres como yo. A veces quiero llorar, a veces quiero gritar. Pensar que me hiciste hombre, la primera que a mí me atacó y no te puedo borrar. No, 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 no. Aventura, sentimiento. Explícame por qué razón no me miras la cara. ¿Será que no quieres que note que sigues enamorada? Tus ojos te muestran pasión y falsos sentimientos. Por el hecho de tu rechazarme mientras te mueres por dentro. Sabes bien que no puedes olvidar ni mucho menos engañarme. Todavía no ha nacido otro hombre que pueda enamorarte. Si antes de inventarse el amor ya yo te estaba amando, ni el amor de Romeo y Julieta llegó a ser tan grande. Te voy a ser sincero y confieso, no te miento, te extraño. Y a pesar que transcurrió tanto tiempo, aún guardo tu retrato. ¿Y a dónde irá este amor? Todita la ilusión, me pregunto a cada instante. Yo sé que yo fallé, pero tu orgullo y tu actitud me impiden recuperarte. Niegas sentir amor, ocultas la pasión y también me rechazas. Conmigo no podrás, te conozco de más, tú todavía me amas. que hoy te alejes de mí, me extrañarás mañana. You won't forget Romeo. Hoy disfrazas lo que por mí sientes y me dispuesta a vencer. Incluso dice que me odias y que el amor se te fue. Mira mis ojos, convénceme que ya tú no me amas. Y entonces sí, no cantaré más canciones, no diré más palabras. Disimulas al decir que no me amas, que eso fue en el pasado. Pero el amor no se puede olvidar, siempre queda grabado. En tu diario se conserva la historia de dos enamorados. Las novelas y poesías de amor las viví a tu lado, con ojos azules, cabello castaño. La madre con mucho orgullo, después de tanto tiempo, al fin sonríe de emoción. Lloraba inquietamente, la enfermera pregunta cuál es la razón. Pues ser padre con solo 6 meses de aquel embarazo los abandonó. No dejó ni motivos ni huellas, una mañanita se fue y no volvió. Y la madre no olvide ese día que aquel hombre ingrato le falló. El niño a 8 meses se parece a su padre y ya dice mamá. Ya los conflictos comienzan, el welfare no alcanza y nadie quiere ayudar. Solo le importa entender que su hijo necesita comer. Y la renta le faltan 2 meses, la plata que entra no alcanza para nada. Decisiones tomó aquella madre, la prostitución la llevó a progresar. Y aquel niño nunca se dio cuenta lo que hacía su madre por él, nada más. Iban pasando los años y el niño lindo de mami vive como un rey. Nada se le negó, sí, en todo se consintió. Creído y presumido, el joven se ha vuelto y se cree el mejor. Por el sudor de su madre tiene carro del año y viste de Armani no más. Solo un amigo de infancia y muchos enemigos por su personalidad. Cuando llegues a grande yo quiero que seas abogado, un gran militar. No te olvides que no tienes padre y la novia que elijas te tiene que amar. Soy tu madre, tu padre y tu amiga, fueron las palabras de aquella mamá. Esta es la historia de una madre insaciable que criando a su hijo cometía un error. No oyó consejos, siguió sus sentimientos y aunque vendió su cuerpo por su hijo luchó. Tenía su amor de madre, su amor era mi amigo y hasta que no se hacía no vivir en paz. Que conocí tu novio, pequeño y no buen mozo, y sé que él no te quiere por su forma de hablar. Además tú no lo amas porque él no da la talla, no sabe complacerte como lo haría yo. Pero tendré paciencia porque él no es competencia, por eso no hay motivos para yo respetarlo.
No es amor.
mucho, mucho me ayudó. Eso me trajo la solución. Yo sé que le gustaba y le di una mirada. Con par de palabritas tu número me dio. Del celular llamaba y tú no contestabas. Luego te puse un beeper y no había conexión. Mi única esperanza es que oiga mis palabras.
No puedo, tengo novio.
No me enganches, por favor.
No es amor.
Escúchame, por favor.
Lo que tú sientes
¿Qué es?
se llama obsesión. Una ilusión.
Estoy perdiendo el control.
En tu pensamiento que te hace ser cosas. Así funciona el corazón.
Mi amor, por Dios, no me enganches, espérate, ¿qué más? Hice cita para el psiquiatra a ver si me ayudaba. Pues ya no tengo amigos por solo hablar de ti. Lo que quiero es hablarte para intentar besarte. ¿Será posible que de mi obsesión no pueda morir? Y quizás pienses que soy tonto, bribón y también loco, pero es que en el amor soy muy original. Me enamoro como otros, conquisto a mi modo. Amar es mi talento, te voy a enamorar. Disculpa si te ofendo, pero es que soy honesto. Con lujo de detalles, escucha mi versión. Pura crema de chocolate.
What should I do? What should I say? What should I do? Dímelo pronto que muero sin tu luz. Dime que ya hoy regresas a mí. Si te entregas a mí, yo me entrego a ti.
No sé por qué,
De noche no duermo más.
y sé por qué.
Mi vida no es vida porque no te tengo y porque no te encuentro, amor. Por eso te dedico esta canción. Shorty, shorty, baby girl, you look so fine. Shorty, shorty, baby girl, you're blowing my mind. Shorty, shorty, no ves que me muero por ti. Shorty, shorty, y sin ti no podría existir. Steve Styles looking for you. Steve Styles, Danny B, XXX Where do I go? Where do I find you? Dímelo pronto, quiero verte, me hace daño. Dime que ya necesitas de mí, que sin mí no eres feliz, sin mí no puedes vivir.
No sé por qué,
De noche no duermo más.
y sé por qué.
Mi vida no es vida porque no te tengo y porque no te encuentro, amor. Por eso te dedico esta canción. Baby girl, you look so fine. Baby girl, you're blowing my mind. No ves que me muero con todo el corazón. Ay,
stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand junto a mí, junto a mí. Y aunque las montañas o el cielo caiga, no voy a preocuparme, porque sé que tú estás junto a mí. No lloraré, no lloraré. Oh, I won't shed a tear, porque sé que tú estás junto a mí. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. That's class right there. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand me enamoraste a mí, tú me hiciste sonreír, sabiendo la situación, que los dos tenemos nuestro amor, vivimos escondidos. Escucha bien mi canción. Ay, recházame, es que no puedo aceptar tu amor. Ay, olvídame, aunque no duela, hay que aceptar ese dolor. Es que yo tengo mi mujer y tú tienes tu novio. Yo no quiero ser infiel, me matará la tentación. This is for y'all players out there. And I'm not just talking about the fellas. You already know what it is. Royce. Too strong. Too strong. Anoche soñé yo contigo del amor que perdimos, del amor que tanto he sufrido y ahora estoy perdido. Tú me decías que me amabas, pero a mi espalda tú me engañabas. Por eso es que nuestro amor ha fracasado. Tal vez no sabes cuánto te amé, pero siempre lloré. Aunque tú nunca, mi amor, lo hayas notado, tus labios me decían te amo y tus ojos me rechazaban. Por eso es que hoy yo, mujer, ya no te creo. Yo te amé, te adoré, no te quiero ver, y sufrí hasta el fin, no te quiero ver. Yo te amé, te adoré, no te quiero ver, y sufrí hasta el fin, no te quiero ver. Royce.
una mujer con quien puedes soñar, solo mamá de casa. Quisiera ser lo que necesitas, pero no puedo, yo quiero volar. But I'll sacrifice my love, sacrifice your love, spread my wings. What's it like to be free? But I'll sacrifice my love, sacrifice your love, spread my wings. What's it like to be free? Si una vez pensé tener un futuro junto a él, esa ilusión ya se perdió, ya no oculto mi emoción. Mírame a mí, ya no me vas a ver. ¿Qué pasará? A ese niño que yo conocí, que ya no es el mismo. Quiero que encuentres quien te amará. But I'll sacrifice my love, sacrifice your love, spread my wings. Vanessa Ayala. Too strong. Deep down, it's not the way that I dreamed about us. Dios te ha regalado un alma pura que lleva tu sangre. La verdad, to choose you, I choose her. No sé si cabemos los tres. ¿Qué puedo hacer? La historia de amor no puede ser la única mujer. Es un triángulo de amor, un triángulo de amor, un triángulo, un triángulo. Es un triángulo de amor, un triángulo de amor, un triángulo, un triángulo. Baby, I'm caught up in your love triangle. Tell me how to let go. Baby, I'm caught up in your love triangle. Tell me how to let go.
Porque existo yo, Anything, too strong. Extreme. Dime su nombre o si fue algún ladrón, para buscarlo y preguntarle por qué de lo mío sin permiso se adueño, y recordarle que tú eres mi mujer. Mátame si no puedo ser tu dueño. Estoy cansado de placeres pasajeros que solo y vacío me dejan al final. Ámame, mi condición está en riesgo. Que no soy yo si a mi lado no te tengo. Mi corazón pierde su signo vital. No quiero vida sin ti. No quiero
Ladies, quit playing them games. Solo don't stay on mind. Let's go.
Y si pudiera encontrar esa persona ideal a quien mi amor entregar, 'cause I can't find love, I can't trust no one with my heart. Aunque quiero sentir, it's so hard for me to trust love, to trust love. Once again, it's Gene, too strong, too strong. Javier, let it rock. A veces me encierro en mi cuarto a imaginar en el perfecto amor, cómo la llevaría al cine a cenar y darle mi atención. Wow, pero de una vez reacciona mi corazón. Como un cobarde, yo le coro a mi emoción. Wow. Cansado de caminar sin alguien a quien amar, yo me quiero enamorar. Y si pudiera encontrar esa persona ideal a quien mi amor entregar, 'cause I can't find love, I can't trust no one with my heart. Aunque quiero sentir, it's so hard for me to trust love, 'cause I can't find love, I can't trust no one with my heart. Aunque quiero sentir, it's so hard for me to trust love. Trust no one, can't find love, trust no one, can't find love, trust no one, can't find love, trust no one.
This is a song about love, and I believe that's all we need. All we need in this world is just love, 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 love. And if we all do our part, we'll forget about the bad times. Amor y paz, that's love and peace for the world. Amor is love, amor
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is DJ Ace. I hope you enjoy that mix. This is all from the heart. Too Strong. Thank you for your amazing talent that you share with the world. This is a lot of hits that you literally touch the world with your amazing artists. We want to thank you, and thank you to all the listeners who tuned in to this episode. That was very, very special. I know a lot of people know a lot of these hits that I played that touched worldwide a lot of hearts. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. I hope you all had a blast with me learning about where Aventura and all the amazing artists came from, and how they were, you know, pretty much brought up, and how it took a whole tribe to make that happen. Now, with that being said, I hope you all stay tuned for our very next guest. We have Chicana. We have a very special guest, one of my amazing good friends. We have Angelica Medina, an amazing human being. I'm not even going to say a lot about her, because guess what? She's going to come here and share her powerful story. And yeah, so stay tuned. I'll see you all on the other side, and can't wait to connect with you all again.